Long over Westminster will linger the spirit of Winston Churchill. By the Queen's wish, the nation's wish, he now lay in state in Westminster Hall. How right indeed that he should rest in this historic place. On the black cushion was his Knight of the Garter insignia. Here lay a man, remarkable in stature, whose long life was devoted to the country he so deeply loved. Every 20 minutes of the long vigil, the watchguard of servicemen was changed. First, men of the Royal Navy. Winston Churchill's life spanned almost a century. But what is that in the history of the Hall of William Rufus, who held court here nearly 900 years ago? Down the centuries, many have been the famous men whose names are linked with this noble, austere edifice. Perhaps Britain now paid homage to the most famous of them all. How fitting that he was born at Blenheim Palace. This great house was presented by the nation to Jack Churchill, 1st Duke of Marlborough, after whose biggest victory it was named. One of the treasured books in the library is the life of the Duke, written by his most illustrious descendant. Two of the best things of my life, Winston said, happened at Blenheim. To be born there, and 34 years later to propose. His beloved Clemmy accepted him here in the summerhouse. In London, the flags everywhere at half-mast. Sorrow was felt now. The old warrior had fought his last fight. All day, drawn to Hyde Park Gate, people gazed silently as if reluctant to believe his life was ended. Little noticed was a man to whom it was a deep personal sorrow, Edmund Murray, his detective over the years. From humblest to highest, there was the same sense of loss. Those whose affairs had brought them from the four corners of the world grieved for him now. Westminster Abbey would have seemed the appropriate resting place of Winston Churchill, for here are enshrined the mortal remains of many whose place in history is secure. But it will not be in the Statesman's Corner, among memorials to the great, that Winston Churchill will be laid to rest, but in the country churchyard at Blaydon, within sight of Blenheim, where his parents lie. It was time now for the tribute of the people. Some had waited all night to be among the first to enter Westminster Hall, first of a huge throng to come during the lying in state. The queues eventually stretched beyond Lambeth Bridge and back again. The thousands who waited for their turn to enter the hall shared the same desire, to express their thanks to him who put us all immeasurably in his debt. Homage in Westminster Hall has been paid to kings, but this was rare, a signal tribute to a man, in the official phrase, out of uniform. People of all ages, of all classes, filed reverently past. for never has so eminent a man been so widely loved. He belonged to that small band of statesmen whose labors have enriched mankind. In his unique way, he made us all his friends. In Westminster Hall, multitudes silently gave thanks for having lived in the time of Winston Churchill.